testing this stuff since I'm literally just using my PS4 to broadcast this stuff. So I didn't realize until I looked back on the last one how bad the quality was, because I have to run my engine in order to play these games. For some reason, this particular truck, the Cascadia Freightliner, since the company did not provide me with an APU, which is a system that has extra batteries and allows you to use stuff while the truck's not on, I have to run the semi in order to play my PS4 and TV. Now, I wish I had a camera so I could show you my just screwy setup. I've got two different converters, inverters, whatever you call them, that plug into a cigarette lighter port, and very hard to find the ones I needed, because the PS4 requires, I think, dropped my mic. I think the PS4 requires, let's see here, I used to know this, it's like 155 or 160 continuous watts in order to play at 60 volts. And it's actually hard to find a cigarette lighter converter that would actually do that. Most of them max out at around 175 watts, and they won't really let you plug anything in that's over 80% of that. So, you know, it'll work for like 20 seconds and shut itself down. But I had to find two of those, for both, one for my TV and one for my PS4. I just got wires going everywhere to make this work. So anyways, welcome back. It's Noyoki Samuran, the crazy trucker, showing you this badass game. Okay, so to look at some other things that we didn't cover the first time. You got objectives here, and the daily objectives change every day, I believe around midnight Central Time. I could be wrong about that, around that time though. And they give you Dosh for the vault when you complete them. So a maximum of 15,000 a day. It takes, I believe, 150,000 in order to get something new. But I mean, like this one right here, you get at least 3 Dosh vaults if you complete the weekly, and they usually have some type of physical reward guaranteed on top of that. This one is going to be rough. You literally have to get headshots and headshots alone, and it's going to be, it looks like perk level 15 plus. That means it's going to be the hardest. You're going to be hell on earth. Oh wait, no, suicidal. So not the hardest, but it's going to be at least suicidal difficulty. And since this game came out, they have increased how hard suicidal and hell on earth are so many times. Hard they kind of left alone, but now hard, they've increased it a little bit. So normal is now what hard was when it first came out. Hard is now suicidal. Suicidal is beyond what hell on earth used to be when this game first came out. And hell on earth is fucking hell on earth. It is nuts. So, you know, that's something you have to work with. These are not generally advisable to play single player. I can beat suicidal with a high level guy single player, but not hell on earth. It's just not happening. I've done it before on the weeklies, but you really have to pick your character and load out extremely carefully. So you got your game modes. The last thing we played was survival, and it was a short 4-rounder. But you have 7 waves and 10 waves, and at the end of each of those, you've got a boss, one of 4, and they just recently added a 4th one. It's a really different boss from everything else, so it's pretty neat. And then you have your weekly, okay? So you can play that weekly, and you can play it. I advise playing weeklies by yourself. They are so much easier to take out by yourself. It's ridiculous, because every time you add one more person to your game, it basically, the first guy doubles the health of all the bigger Zeds and doubles the amount of enemies on screen. And basically, so like if you go into the first round and there's 24 people, that means the next guy that joins there's going to be 48. The next guy that joins there's going to be 24 more on top of that. So it can get real hectic real quick, because a lot of the more powerful Zeds get more health. Much harder to take down. They require a lot of teamwork. So if you're ever going to do a weekly, just do it by yourself. Get the money. It might take you 2 to 3 tries max, depending on how difficult the weekly is. Then you have Endless. This is something brand new. They just came out with it a couple months ago. It is an unlimited wave. You go, just like in Call of Duty Zombies, you go until you freaking die. And every 5 waves you have to face a boss. And every 5 waves the boss gets harder and harder and harder. And there's not necessarily a different boss. A lot more health and a lot more damage potential whenever you get a new one. Objective mode is also brand new, and actually that's what I'm going to show you next, is objective mode. Now, they haven't added all the maps. There's only 5 maps for this. But if we go back to survival, there are, I started playing this game when they had 5 or 6 maps, and they have added all of these maps completely for free. They're all very unique. They all require different styles of run-throughs. I personally have about 4 or 5 favorites that I know like the back of my hand. There are probably about 3 or 4 that I'm not that familiar with, and 2 that I just genuinely dislike. But there are people that really like those maps. You know, it's one of those things. So I'm going to try to do objective mode, and since I'm quieter here, I'm hoping you can hear the game itself better and all the talking. So instead of using Gunslinger for this, because this has a lot of hold your ground stuff, very difficult to do with Gunslinger, I'm actually going to show some support. Yo! I love the support class. It is easily in my top 3 classes to play. Like I said before, if you're just looking for survivability, Berserker Field Medic, they're the best to go. Berserker does a ridiculous amount of damage with some of his guns. I'm personally just not a fan of them, because every time I try to play Hell on Earth, it'll be like 3 guys are Berserkers, 2 guys are Field Medics, and then there's me playing some random class, and everyone hates me because I'm not using the best 2 characters in the game. So I'm going to do support. What do we got here? Yeah, reload speed for this first shotgun. Oh yeah, and these, in between each round, you can change these up. So at level 5 you get both these perks, right? And they are good for different things. And the reason why I like this guy is because he's so just all around. So many of his guns. You just, okay, I want this perk instead of that perk after I buy this gun. So he works really well. Especially with this greatly increased penetration, you can go through 5, 6 people with one shot. But tight choke's also really good with certain other guns, like the double barrel, because the spread's so wide, unless you're in their face, you won't do full damage. So let's see here. Let's go ahead and do a solo objective. Nuked is the hardest one, hands down. I'm not going to do that one. Let's do Outpost. That's a good one to start on. Okay. Launch game.
Can you hear me? Horsey is abandoning this base as it has been overrun by Zeds. Standard procedure was not followed, and the servers were not wiped as part of the evacuation. We need to recover some housing data before destroying the facility. If you do what I say, you have an excellent chance of not becoming very dead.
All right. So I just wanted y'all to hear that. One thing I really like about objective mode is it adds a storyline to this game that was not there before. And they plan on making almost every map into some type of objective mode. It's just going to take them a while to get there. But here we go. You start off with the pump action SG500. Not the greatest shotgun, but if you do want to, you know, just screw around and level only it up, you can hold your own. I personally just do not like it.
Quite pretty, really.
Weld the trader port back together, please.
Oops, trade port. You do run faster with your pistol. Sorry, I forgot that chick talks right at the beginning. You can close doors behind you to slow down enemies. You can even weld them shut, but they will break eventually.
Watch out, Zeds!
One cool thing about the support is he welds things twice as fast as any other class.
Prepare the trader pod, thank you very much.
Aha. Yeah, I know there's a bunch of people behind me. Trying to funnel them here.
Just like the lads in the Falklands did.
Usually other characters, you're going to have to recharge that quite a bit before you can...
See that?
Thank you.
You're going to have to recharge your welder quite a bit before you can
More, thank you.
finish it. Okay, it looks like there are 4 of these. You'll get 200 DOS for your vault.
Love a bit of the picture
Will you
postcard.
complete it?
Snow.
You'll notice at the wave where it says 1 of 8, it says infinite. It does tend to limit how many people come at you at once,
I can see it's
though,
operational now.
until you finish.
Now, one more pump.
I also tend to reload my shotguns, especially if they're single reload
We've got demons. Come to
pump
play.
action before you run out, because that first round, especially if you don't have rapid reload on,
Beastie.
takes it doesn't seem like a long time, but sometimes it can be the difference between 30, 40 hit points and death. So I always try to keep one in the chamber before I reload. Oh, cool! Even more ammo. All right,
Quite
well,
pretty.
that saves
really.
a lot of money.
Apart from the monsters.
Done well.
Oh. Got that just in time. Ooh, got them both on accident.
The last one falls. Reopen the pod.
Now I've only got $670. Doesn't seem like a lot. Oh, cool. But it is enough for one of my next shotguns. And I'm going to use the Dragon's Breath simply because it's awesome. I won't keep it for too long because I like some of the other shotguns a bit more. But the Dragon's Breath, it not only can the support guy use it, the Firebug
a bit
can
of the
also
picture
use it,
postcard. Snow.
because it is technically
Counting down from
a
10.
fire
Then I
weapon.
close the pod.
And by the way, the graphics in this game are just absolutely awesome. Beautiful detail.
These servers hold sensitive hosting data. I need to extract some files from it. But as
All
I
right,
do, you
so
need to access
this
the
round can
follow
be a little tricky. Now on these respawn every 30 or 40 seconds or something like that. Now, unfortunately, those little guys can actually be rather difficult to take care of with a shotgun. Reload. And just in time. Now I tend to quick scope with these shotguns. And it especially helps whenever you're surrounded by those little guys, because when you quick scope, it kind of automatically aims at the nearest thing. This game actually has a lot of forgiveness when it comes to your hip fire. Dang it, I did it again.
Basic training.
Aiming doesn't affect your shot spread at all, but it helps you get centerline shots a lot easier. Reload. Set up. Okay. I know I haven't used that fire breath yet. Simply because, see what I mean? It just sort of zeroes in.
But if they've got a walk and stash somewhere.
Yeah, fire hurts in this game, by the way.
Beastie. Watch it, there's a cloaked one around. Ah! Boomstick! It's the spot.
10 people.
The better be dead.
Huh?
Yeah!
You have nearly slaughtered them all.
Ah!
I was hoping it would stay slow-mo long enough for you to see all the sparky sparks.
Armor would serve
All
you
right,
well.
selling that, and I've got several options here, because all of these guns are good guns. So the question is, do I want more ammo or less ammo? And also, what type of shotgun do I want to use? Now, I want combat armor, so that's going to limit my options a bit. The double barrel boomstick can dish out the damage, so I think I'm going to go ahead and buy that. Yeah, go ahead and keep that like that. Okay, and then I'm going to switch my shot spread to decrease it by 50%. That affects all shotguns across the board. So you're not going to see me being able to shoot 3, 4, 5 people in a row with one shot. But I'm going to do a heck of a lot more damage to a single individual. And
Counting
this
down from 10. Then I
is
close
the
the
double
pod.
barrel.
Quite pretty, really, apart from the monsters.
There is a
Oh,
trap
I think
behind
this
that
one
door.
is...
You must release it. We will
Yeah,
need it to
this
activate
is
the data terminal.
going to be an escort mission. The more people you have on your team, the harder these escort missions are. There are several bottlenecks
Release the
where
door and keep
if
it
you are not
Please.
set up enough with multiple people...
Eat fire!
Save withdrawn.
See, they hit it and it stops. Now, some people don't like this particular shotgun because of the incredibly long reload
The better be dead!
animations. Probably one of the slowest reloads for single shot or a pump action single round reload the shotgun guy has. But it can also be one of the most powerful shotguns in the game if you take the time to level it up. So it's like, you know, what would you rather have? A lot of ammo and quick reload time,
Visible?
or a dang shotgun that pretty much takes care of everything in one shot.
Did that sting?
Ooh, that was a bite. Now, get off through here.
Locking it up.
Good. We're halfway.
Also, Zeds are extremely attracted to welded doors.
Don't come
No one
back!
exactly knows why. At least not in universe. But they
Sizzle,
will
you freak!
get behind it and attack the crap out of it until it's
Get
broken.
those banks
And once a
ready.
door is broken, the
10
only
inbound.
way to repair it is with the support guy. He can
Trust
repair
her.
doors. It takes significantly longer than just welding it in the first place.
I'm getting too good at this.
I'm running low on ammo.
Almost at the terminal.
Welding this shot, people.
The drop is wrong. Now we begin our
I'm
work.
going to unweld it. Take a little bit of damage. I love it when they do that. Now this double barrel is really cool because you can either R2 it and shoot one barrel at a time, or R1,
Better be
boom,
dead.
boom. Screw you. That is a lot of damage all at once, especially when you got the tight spread on.
Last one falls.
I think there's only one other gun in the game that can do, one other shotgun in the game that can do as much single trigger pull damage, and that one's called the Doom Stick instead of the Boom Stick. It actually is a 4-barreled shotgun that's a break action. It's so fun to use. Okay, 487 when I sell that. Okay, I want ammo. But at the same time, well, I'm using decreased spread, so ooh, well, here, nail gun or the multi-action. You know what? It's been a while since I used the nail gun. That sounds like fun.
Counting down from 10. Then I close the pod.
It runs out of ammo extremely fast. It's actually a berserker weapon, and it can fire if you hit R1, single or multi.
I need you to collect all the edge pads and return them to the terminal. They hold sensitive information that I need.
Yes, this is Dr. Bully. Yes, there was this problem. One of your security team suddenly became very sad and shot himself.
That
Thank you for asking.
Edge pad.
He's down. Yeah! Oh! Oh!
now, on single player, this particular doing this doesn't really slow you down. But if you have so much as one other person on your team picking these tablets up, slows you down to 50% max speed. So you end up having to rely on whoever else is, in your team in
That's
order to
the
protect you.
first edge pad we need.
It does increase your melee damage quite a bit,
Demons.
though.
Pad is active.
Just like the lads in the Falklands did.
Ah. Boy, I get
Did that?
dead, 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 headshot, headshot, headshot. You can hold your own if you seriously need to. Out of the way.
That'll keep me going.
Yeah, you're not going to survive for long, but you can get out of a tight situation if you absolutely have to.
Love a bit of the picture postcard. Snow.
Now we have the second edge pad. Another edge
This
pad
nail
is
gun has a natural penetration, and the rounds also bounce. So
Beasties.
it is
Gotcha, beastie.
a really good gun to have if you've got
No
tight
man's
spread
got
on. because it already penetrates through people, one, and two, it actually does quite a bit of damage. It fires 7 nails that each do 30 or 40 points of damage. Oh, not going that way. Oh god. Aha! You blew your load. Running away. Sometimes going the most direct route is not the smartest route to take. Especially if they're already clustered close to you. It's a lot easier to get to it by a roundabout route, losing the least amount of health.
Quite pretty, really, apart from the monsters.
Alright. I've got 4 rounds left. We're running at 26 minutes. I know I had the first 9 minutes kind of a long-winded thing. But the rest of this will be for next round, just so I can keep these under half an hour. So, see you next time.